Welcome back. You're listening to Building Humans, the series where we really try to get to the heart of childhood development. We're not just looking at parenting tips here. We're trying to understand the very architects of humanity children themselves. I'm your host, here to ask the big questions.
And I'm here to help explore the answers. It's wonderful to be back. The answers, as we'll see today, are often hidden in plain sight, right there in the biology of an infant.
Before we jump in, and we have a really mind-bending topic today, we absolutely have to thank the partners that make this whole deep dive possible. This series is a collaboration, a joint effort between the Al-Mahaba Foundation and the Dar el-Khalima Publishing House.
And specifically, the Dar el-Khalima Library. Their dedication to preserving and sharing these foundational texts is just, well, it's invaluable.
It really is. They're providing the map, as you've said before, for this entire journey we're on.
It's a vital role. The concepts we're discussing today, they're not just interesting ideas, they fundamentally shift how we see a human being. So having institutions dedicated to that knowledge is critical.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so let's get to it. Today's source material is a single chapter from Maria Montessori's incredible book, The Secret of Childhood. The chapter is called The Spiritual Embryo. And I have to admit, when I first read that title, my first thought was science fiction.
It does sound like that, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
the spiritual embryo. It sounds mystical, maybe a little bit out there, like we're about to discuss metaphysics, not developmental science.
And that's the immediate reaction for most people. It sounds poetic. But you have to remember, Montessori was a physician, a scientist. She chose her words with incredible precision.
So this isn't a metaphor.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
When she says spiritual embryo, she's describing what she saw as a biological and psychological reality, a reality that's completely unique to our species.
Okay, because as I got into the material, that became clear. This isn't fantasy. It's a hard look at how a human comes to be. But it hinges on this one, this really provocative central question. Based on this chapter, are you seriously telling us that children are born twice?
Yes, in a very real functional sense, that's exactly right. And if we can't get our heads around that first idea, none of the rest of it will make sense.
All right, let's unpack that because that's a huge claim. Everyone sees the first birth. That's a physical event. There's a hospital, there's labor, the baby is physically present in the world.
Undeniably. The physical event is clear, we can see it, we can photograph it. The biological work of the prenatal period, it's done. A body has been produced.
Right. It has lungs, a heart, it's a functioning biological machine.
Exactly, a biological machine. But is that all a human being is? Is a human just a collection of organs?
No, of course not. A human is.
Oh.
Well, it's the personality, the mind, the intelligence, language, the spirit.
Precisely. Now, where are all of those things at the moment of physical birth?
Well, they're not there. I mean, not really. The potential, maybe, but the personality itself, it isn't formed yet.
It's completely unformed. It doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
So you see, the physical womb has finished its job. It built the body. But the child now has this monumental task still ahead of them.
To build the mind.
To build the mind and the soul from, quite literally, nothing, from scratch. The second birth is the emergence of that psychological person. And that happens after the body has entered the world.
So what you're saying is the period after birth, what we just call infancy, it's not just about growing bigger. It's another embryonic phase, but for the mind.
That is the core of it, yes. Montessori's great insight was that the external world, the environment, it becomes a kind of second womb.
A second womb.
The spiritual womb, as she called it.
That is a heavy concept.
Yeah.
We usually think of the environment as just, the background, the scenery. The crib is just a crib.
We see it as the stage. But it's not. It's an active ingredient. It's an incubator.
How so?
Well, think about the first womb. The physical embryo needed amniotic fluid, it needed nutrients, protection, warmth, all to grow a heart and lungs.
Right.
The spiritual embryo needs the external environment in the same way. It needs sounds, sights, language, emotions. Those are the nutrients it uses to grow an intellect and a personality.
So without that interaction, the human spirit just can't form.
It cannot. The environment provides the raw materials. The child is the builder who uses them.
This makes so much more sense when you bring in the animal comparison from the book. That was the point where I just put the book down for a minute and thought, wow, we are a different kind of creature entirely.
The kitten versus the baby.
Yes.
Yes.
It seems so simple, but the implications are they're huge.
It's the starkest contrast, and it shows where our evolutionary paths really diverged.
So let's walk through it. A kitten is born. What can it do?
Almost immediately, it can function. Within days, sometimes hours, it's walking, it's playing, it's mock hunting. It knows how to be a cat.
It doesn't need to go to cat school to learn how to meow.
No, exactly. The software is pre-installed. It has what we could call a preset program, instincts for what to eat, how to clean itself, what to fear. It's all there, hardwired. It hits the ground running.
It's like unboxing a new phone, and all the apps you need are already there and working perfectly.
A perfect analogy. The software is ready to go. Now contrast that with the human infant.
And what do you see? You see, well, with all the love in the world, you see a lump, an immobile creature.
Seemingly helpless?
I'd say actually helpless. They can't hold their own head up. They can't find food. They can't move. They are totally 100% dependent on another being for survival.
Physically, yes, total dependence. But we have to dig into the why. If we're supposedly the apex species, rulers of the planet, why do we arrive so, well, unfinished, so utterly at a disadvantage compared to a horse or a cat?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The common explanation is that it's a sort of biological compromise. Our heads got too big for the birth canal, so we have to be born early before we're fully cooked.
We see it as a flaw, a bug in the system. But what if it's not a bug? What if, as Montessori argues, it is the single most important feature of our species?
This helplessness is strategic.
Strategic helplessness.
That sounds like a complete paradox. How is being a helpless lump a strategic advantage?
Let's go back to the kitten. It has that preset program, right? It's efficient and ensures survival, but it's also a cage.
A cage.
A cat can only ever be a cat. It can't decide to learn to bark or to compose music or to invent a new form of government. It's locked into cat behavior forever. Its instincts are constraints.
So its software is efficient, but it's closed source. You can't rewrite the code.
You cannot. Now look at the human. The baby is born without that preset program. They have no fixed behaviors. They don't know how to speak English or Mandarin. They don't know how to walk or dance. But because they lack that rigid instinct,
That is freedom.
complete freedom, a terrifying and beautiful freedom. The reason the baby is helpless is because nature hasn't locked them into a personality. They are born with the potential to become literally anything.
And the trade-off for that freedom is this long period of helplessness where they have to build that personality themselves.
Exactly. It's not a waiting period, it's a construction period. They are gathering data from their specific time and place to build a unique human being adapted to that world. A child born in ancient Rome built a different mind than a child born in modern Tokyo. The kitten is the same everywhere, every time.
This leads directly to the next big idea in the chapter, which is debunking this myth that almost all of us fall for, the blank page idea.
The tabula rasa.
Yeah.
It's a very old and persistent idea.
Right. I look at a baby and my first thought is, okay, this is an empty vessel, a blank slate. And my job as the parent, the adult, is to write on it, to fill it up with knowledge.
That is the standard model of education, isn't it? We are the teachers, they are the empty buckets we fill, we think we are the artists, and the child is just passive clay.
But Montessori has a really strong reaction to that idea in the book. She doesn't just disagree with it, she calls it insulting. That's a powerful word choice.
It is, and she meant it. Why is it insulting? Because the term blank page implies total passivity. A page does nothing. It just lies there and waits to be written on. It has no energy, no drive, no internal plan.
So by calling them a blank page, we're ignoring the work they're doing.
We are stripping them of their dignity as creators. We're reducing this incredible, energetic being to a passive object. It's a profound misunderstanding of what is actually happening.
So if blank page is wrong, what's the right metaphor? The outline suggests architect.
Architect, builder, constructor. These are all active words. The child is the one doing the work.
Let's make this real for people listening. Okay, so a 3-month-old baby is in their crib, just staring at their own hand. It looks like they're doing nothing, just idling.
To our eyes, yes. But internally, they are engaged in the single most complex construction project in the known universe.
Which is?
Building the neural architecture of a human consciousness. The source material uses the analogy of a supercomputer, but it's even more than that. It's a supercomputer that is building its own circuits while it's running.
A self-creating supercomputer.
Yes. Think of the processing power required for that. The child is absorbing every single sound in their environment, not just words, but the tones, the rhythms, the phonemes of their specific language. Every sight, every color, every shadow, every human expression.
And unlike us,
Yeah.
they can't filter it out right. I can tune out the sound of the air conditioner.
You have what are called inhibitory mechanisms. You learn to focus by ignoring things. The infant has no such filters. They take it all in. Every drop of data from the environment flows into them.
So that's the spiritual embryo at work. It's mining the environment, the second womb, for raw materials.
Exactly. And it's using those materials, the sounds, the sights, the love, the language, to physically wire its own brain. This is why the blank slate idea is so harmful.
Why?
Because it makes us arrogant. It makes us think we are the ones doing the creating. We say things like, I taught my child to talk.
But we didn't.
No, we spoke. We provided the language environment, but the child did the impossible work. The child listened, identified the patterns, mapped the sounds to meanings, and built the neural pathways for language. We are just the suppliers. The child is the architect and the general contractor.
We're the lumberyard, and they're building the house.
It's a humbling way to look at it, isn't it? We are the guardians of the construction site, not the builders themselves.
It is. But I still want to push on this idea of helplessness. I get the mental work part, but why does the physical part have to take so long? A full year on average, just to walk. A foal does it in minutes. Is that physical delay really necessary for the brain to develop?
It seems that it is. This is what Montessori referred to as the secret design of childhood, the idea that there's a profound functional link between physical immobility and mental construction.
Secret design. It sounds so mysterious.
Well, let's try a thought experiment. Imagine if a human baby could get up and walk on day one. Like a little monkey or a kitten, what would they do?
They'd be all over the place. They'd run away.
They'd run away. They would be constantly moving, exploring, chasing things, reacting to every immediate physical stimulus. They wouldn't have time to just stop and stare, to just listen.
So the inability to move, it's a kind of tether. It keeps them in place.
It's an anchor. That physical helplessness forces the child to be still. It forces them to be an observer first and an actor second. It prioritizes perception over action in those critical early stages.
So nature basically grounds us for a year, so we're forced to download the cultural operating system.
That's a great way to put it. The task is immense. The baby has to absorb the specific culture it's born into. If it's born in Paris, it has to build a French brain. The language, the social cues, the gestures. If it's born in Nairobi, it needs to build a Kenyan brain.
And you can't learn those subtleties if you're, I don't know, running around the savannah 5 minutes after birth.
You can't. You need to be held close. You need to be immobile, near the faces and voices of your culture's representatives, your parents. All that energy that other animals put into developing their muscles, the human baby is putting into developing its mind.
So they aren't weak. They're buffering.
They are buffering. They are downloading the genius of their culture. As the book says, the baby is not weak. They are incredibly busy building a genius.
Busy building a genius. I love that. It completely changes how you see a baby lying in a crib. It's not a waiting room for life to start. It's a high-stakes construction site.
And if we truly believe that, it has to change our behavior. This is the practical part, the difficult part.
Right. So the big so what question. If the child is a spiritual embryo, hard at work, how does that change how I treat them on a day-to-day basis?
It comes down to one word: respect. And this is hard for us as adults because it requires us to control our own impulses, not the child's.
The book is pretty blunt about this. It says we tend to treat babies like cute dolls.
And let's be honest, we do. I've done it. We've all done it. You see a cute baby, and the impulse is to pick them up, squeeze their cheeks, pass them around like a little trophy.
We move them from room to room based on our schedule. We interrupt what they're doing to get a smile for our own amusement.
We treat them like objects, like furniture. It often comes from a place of love, of course, but it's a love that lacks a fundamental respect for their personhood.
It's treating them as an object of our affection, not a subject with their own life.
Exactly. Imagine a scientist is deep in concentration, staring into a microscope. Would you run in, tickle them, and say, "Smile for me"?
Of course not. You'd be thrown out. Their work is important.
Well, the infant's work is infinitely more important. They are creating a mind. And yet we barge in constantly because to our eyes, they're just staring. We don't see the work, so we assume it isn't happening.
So this is where the motto of the Alma Foundation comes in. Service.
Yes, love for all, service for everyone. In this context, service isn't just about food and diapers. That's biological service. The deeper service, the Montessori service, is protecting the child's work, protecting their concentration.
There's a really powerful example in the source material to illustrate this, the shadow on the wall.
Yes, it's a classic observation. Let's paint the picture. You have a toddler sitting on the floor, and they are completely transfixed, just staring at a shadow cast by a chair on the wall.
Okay, I can see it. They're totally still.
What is the average adult's impulse in that moment? What would you do?
Honestly, if it goes on for more than a minute, I'm thinking, are they bored? Is something wrong?
Yeah.
I'd probably go over, jingle a toy, pick them up.
Yeah.
Come on, let's do something more interesting than staring at a wall.
We feel the need to stimulate them. We think their stillness is emptiness that we need to fill. But from the perspective we've been discussing, what have you just done?
I've interrupted their work.
You've shattered a moment of profound concentration. That staring isn't passive. That child is working on the physics of light and shadow. They are building a concept in their mind. They are feeding their spiritual embryo.
And I just bulldozed it with a plastic rattle because I was bored.
You imposed your rhythm on theirs. You decided that your definition of activity, noise, and movement was better than their definition of work, which was quiet observation.
That's a really hard thing to admit. We think we're being good, engaged parents, but a lot of the time we're just being disruptive.
And so the single most practical piece of advice from this entire chapter is this: do not interrupt.
Do not interrupt.
It sounds passive, but it's an act of profound active restraint. It's about respecting their concentration. If a child is focused on something, anything, a crumb on the floor, a sunbeam, the texture of a rug, your job is to become the guardian of that moment. Protect that work.
So protecting that quiet work is the highest form of service.
It is. It's so difficult for us because we live by the clock. We are always in a hurry.
Right. We have to get to the store. It's time for a nap. We have a schedule to keep. We can't just sit and watch a shadow for an hour.
Of course not. Life has to continue. But we can become more conscious. We can pause for just a minute. We can see them working and decide to wait just a little longer before we intervene. We can even narrate our interruptions.
What do you mean?
Instead of just scooping them up, we can say, I see you are so busy looking at that light. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it is time for us to go now.
Ah, so you're acknowledging their work. You're treating them like a person whose time is valuable, even if you have to interrupt.
You are validating their reality. You are telling them with your actions, I see you. Your work matters. That tiny shift changes everything.
Okay, this has been a lot to take in. As we start to wrap up, let's try to pull out the key takeaways. If someone only remembers 3 things from this deep dive, what should they be?
Number 1, the child is not a blank slate. They are a builder, an active architect of their own mind. We are just providing the materials.
Number 2, the long period of infant helplessness is not a weakness.
Yeah.
It is a feature. It is the freedom from instinct that allows us to become anything.
And number 3, our most important job as adults is to respect the work of the spiritual embryo. This means learning the difficult art of not interrupting their concentration. Our highest service is to protect their focus.
It's a really powerful reframing of everything, and it sets us up perfectly for our next discussion, because if the spiritual embryo is the who,
Then our next topic is the how. How does this miraculous construction actually happen? What is the mechanism?
we are going to be diving into a concept called the absorbent mind.
Possibly the most famous and foundational idea in all of Montessori's work.
I remember the description in the source material called it the most powerful sponge in the universe.
That's a good way to think of it. It's the superpower of early childhood. It's the unique mental state that allows the child to absorb their entire culture, language, customs, everything effortlessly without conscious thought. It's a power we adults have lost.
I cannot wait for that.
Yeah.
Thinking of a child's brain as a superpower, that's a game changer. But before we go, we have a call to action for everyone listening.
Yes, don't just let this be an interesting idea. We want you to put it into practice. We want you to observe.
The next time you're around a young child, whether it's your own or just one you see at the park, stop for a moment. Try to see the spiritual embryo at work.
Look for those moments of deep, quiet focus. And then challenge yourself. See if you can resist the urge to interrupt. Just for 30 seconds. Just for a minute. Protect their space and see what they discover.
It's a small change that can make a huge difference. And if you want to go deeper, we strongly encourage you to read the chapter The Spiritual Embryo in the book The Secret of Childhood.
It's available from the Dar al-Khalima Library, and it really is the blueprint for understanding these foundational years.
Thank you so much for navigating this with us today. It's been truly eye-opening.
The pleasure was all mine.
You've been listening to Building Humans. As we sign off, we leave you with our guiding principle: love for all, service for everyone. We'll see you next time.